Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Clown in the Cornfield 3, The Church of Frendo by Adam Cesare, and this is from Harper Teen. The third, maybe final, maybe not final book in the Clown in a Cornfield series. The first book introduces us to Quinn, teenager. They've moved into Kettle Springs. I just read this. Yes, Kettle Springs. Just want to make sure. She and her father have moved into Kettle Springs, and it becomes a slasher movie. I'm trying to avoid any types of spoilers here. The second book, which is, let's see, let's check the title. Yes, Clown in Cornfield 2, Frendo Lives. Quinn has started her first year of college, but some bad stuff's going down. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories on the internet about what really happened in Kettle Springs, and it all builds up to a crazy crescendo. Now, Clown in a Cornfield 3, The Church of Frendo. Quinn, suppose this might get a little spoilery for the second book, first book. Quinn is on the road. Well, let me see. You know what? Let's just read the flap. And that way, if there's any spoilers, it's not my fault. Evil never dies. It multiplies. Tired of being hunted. Excuse me, let's try that again. Tired of being hunted and seeing innocent people hurt, Quinn Maybrook has come to believe the only way to beat the horror of Frendo is to take justice into her own hands and stop his followers herself. Leaving her old life behind, Quinn heads out on a mission to mete out justice the only way she knows how. Little does she realize that in a different cornfield, in a different world, Frendo has become far more than just another clown. He's a way of life, a world that no one can escape, at least not alive. And so yet again, only Quinn can step in, step up, and put an end to the madness, once and for bloody all. It's an all-new tale about the villains inside us all, from Bram Stoker award-winning author, Master of Slashers and Suspense, Adam Cesare. There's your nutshell. For the too long didn't watch folks, I just finished this before I started recording today, so I haven't rated it on Goodreads yet, but I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I really liked it. Now, it took me a little bit of time to get into it. I think maybe I was too tired when I started it. But once I got going, once the story got going, I flew through it. It didn't take me long to read it at all. Helps that it's the weekend. So we have essentially two stories going on. We have Quinn and what she's doing, and then we're also following this new character, this young teenager, Tabitha, and what she's doing in her little town, which seems to be almost an Amish kind of place, but it's not quite what it seems. Meanwhile, Quinn is traveling around, beating the shit out of the people from book 2. But there's more going on, and trying to avoid spoilers, as usual. Quinn gets caught up in more than she knows. Does that make sense? Does the sentence itself make sense? Was that the proper sentence structure? There's more going on than Quinn knows. She's going to get caught up in events. So, Adam Cesare, fantastic writer. He's created a very interesting world here. And where the first book, for me, felt like mainly a slasher, with maybe some underlying themes of generational differences, I suppose. And then the second book, less of a slasher, has some slasher elements, but I'd say less of a slasher and much more deeply themed, I feel, around the QAnon phenomenon, the uh, the abundance of conspiracy theories on the internet, and people taking them way too seriously, taking things into their own hands, um, leading to the events of that book. And now here, it's a religious thing. I mean, it is called the Church of Frendo, but one could see it as actually more of a political parallel. I don't know what the author's intentions were. I can only share my own thoughts. And uh, at this time, reading this book, it very much feels like, yes, there's the religious thing going on, but it also feels like a parallel to groups of people that may be cultish in their thinking when it comes to certain political things or people. Does that make sense? I'm being shady here. Um, we can get specific down below, but that was my feeling when I was reading this. But as always, Adam Cesare, I just want to call him Adam Cesare. Uh, he's writing interesting characters. You know, we've met Quinn, but she's developed over these 3 books, and we're introduced to a bunch of new characters, and we're getting backstory for them, and um, we're getting to know them. We're getting to care about them. I was actually surprised. There were a couple of points in this story where I got a little misty-eyed. I felt a little tightening in the chest. I don't think it was heartburn. Um, so, I mean, that's the power of a good writer, especially considering that for a little while there it was taking me some time to get into it, and I thought about maybe putting it aside, coming back to it later, but I had some time on my hands. Wasn't doing anything today, so I was like, let's see where this goes, and then I was in. I was in for the ride, and I was in for these characters, and it's it's a great ending to a trilogy, but there isn't afterward. There's acknowledgments, and Adam Cesare says that he would like to keep going with the Clown in a Cornfield series. Doesn't have to, as I said. Great ending, but there is potential for more, and it's going to come down to sales, I think, as it always does. But I wouldn't mind seeing more from this world. It is a young adult book, but it really doesn't, to me, doesn't feel that way. I'm not well versed in what makes a young adult book a young adult book, um, especially nowadays. But there is some crazy violence in this book. There is strong language. Maybe the fact that there's no sex, is that part of young adult books? I don't know. I haven't read a lot of them. Um, so I don't know that that's a spoiler telling you that there's no sex in the book, but a lot of violence. Some of it pretty graphic, not going into extreme, or not even, I don't think, splatterpunk, but considering any preconceptions I might have had for a young adult book, pretty graphic, I think, which is something I enjoy. So yeah, you can just read this book as a straightforward horror novel in part of a slasher series where it's sort of the stories have grown beyond the slasher genre, or you can read it with that deeper theme that I feel is there. And I'm not a guy that goes looking for deeper themes, but I think it's pretty obvious. I could be completely wrong. I'm willing to admit that. But I think you should read it. 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed Clown in a Cornfield, The Church of Frendo, or Clown in a Cornfield 3, The Church of Frendo by Adam Cesare. And I do enjoy that cover. I think all the books have had really good covers. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a great book. Pick it up and read it. Even though it's young adult, none of them feel to me like young adult books, except for the lack of sex. Not that you have to have sex. Not every horror novel has sex in it. But that's the one thing when I'm talking about young adult book. Oh, there's no sex in it. Is that part of what being a young adult book is about? I don't know. But anyway, pick up all 3. Clown in a Cornfield. 3, The Church of Frendo. All right. Question for this video. I didn't think ahead, as always. How do you feel about clowns and cornfields? This, sort of makes him look like a scarecrow. And I know it's a weird question, but in your horror, do you like a good scary clown story? Do you like a good scary cornfield story or a good scary scarecrow story? I'm a fan of all 3. Cornfields sort of tangentially. As always, good writing, good characters, entertaining story. You want to make it a scary clown? That's fine. I got no problem with that. Scary clowns are fun. You want to make it a scarecrow? I might like a good scary scarecrow even more than a good scary clown. Cornfields, interesting place to set your horror story. Stephen King has the classic Children of the Corn, which apparently was popular enough to have 10 sequels. I don't know. There's a shit ton of movies in that series. Not all of them good. Some people might say none of them good. That's up for debate. But I think it's the sort of the cornfield maze kind of thing. The fact that if you're in a cornfield and it's all higher than your head, you can't see what's going. You can't see where you're going. You can't see what's coming at you. It's an interesting place to set a horror story. So yeah, I'm a fan. Again, if it's well written, I enjoy it. What about you? I know some people hate clowns, don't want to read scary clown stories. You might think cornfields are lame. You might think scarecrows are lame. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. If you're on Blue Sky, I am @ELSmith. That's all I have. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.